AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560 The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Some sad news to report.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately.
What?
The amazing Jonathan has passed away at the age of 63. Do you know the amazing Jonathan?
I can't lie.
You don't know the amazing Jonathan?
Mike, Scott, help me out. Anybody? Justin, do you think Justin would know who the amazing Jonathan? Oh, he's shaking his head.
Anybody who has an appreciation for magic and comedy, the intersection between the two, would know who the amazing Jonathan is.
Okay, who is he?
He was a magician and comedian. He was great. He was just hysterical. It was genius, really. One of my favorites. And there's a really good documentary. If you don't know anything about the amazing Jonathan, you would like to know something about the amazing Jonathan, you should watch the amazing Jonathan documentary.
Well, then maybe I will.
All right, very good.
I don't like the tone, but maybe I will. But yeah, how did he die? Do we know yet? Don't say COVID.
It was actually in the documentary, which is only a few years old. He was battling heart disease. He had a long bout with heart disease. So sad. So rest in peace, the amazing Jonathan. Thanks for all the laughs and the magic. He was great. Fantastic. Other sad news, Lori Lightfoot is still talking.
Yeah, and she, set us free. We're going to be along with the state. No more masks and vaccine passports because, restaurants are dying on the vine. So she's going to unmask us, but she's going to stay masked. This might come back and bite her in the butt.
Well, certainly in the short term, I'm going to be wearing a mask. That's my personal choice. I was one of the people that caught COVID during this Omicron surge, and while I had a mild case, I don't want to put myself at risk. So and particularly in a restaurant setting where I have no idea now, knowing whether or not the people that are sitting in and around me are vaccinated, I'll be wearing a mask.
I'm just sitting there going, what is wrong with you? She's vaccinated, she's boosted, she wears a mask all the time, she got COVID. And when I talked to her off camera, she didn't say it was a light case. She said it was bad. And she was constantly talking to her doctor, Dr. Awardy's her personal doctor.
Well, she does have a lot of comorbidities. There's no question about that.
But regardless, she can't brush it off like
short, has that haircut.
Short. Height has nothing to do with it.
Those aren't comorbidities?
Haircuts have nothing to do with it,
The haircuts don't? I thought haircuts had something to do with it.
She's destroying. Listen to this. He's in charge of the Chicago Restaurant Association, Roger Romanelli. What restaurant owners did just to survive the past few months.
We are in razor-thin margins of days to save restaurants. Restaurant owners have mortgaged, sold property, cut back, got their whole families and friends involved. Restaurants on the brink of going out of business. We need immediate action by our senators, our mayor, our governor. Illinois has to lead the way to save America's restaurants.
Yeah. 177,000 are on the brink of destruction, but they didn't do anything to fight back during the time.
It's too bad
I have no sympathy. Sorry.
It's too bad the restaurants didn't have a better restaurant association to represent their interests. It's unfortunate. It's too bad that so few of the restaurants were willing to speak up, that they let celebrity chefs like Rick Bayless do their obsequious speaking for them. It's too bad.
Business down 92% in Chicago in the past 2 months compared to 2 years ago.
You live by the state and you stop living by the state. For more on this and other matters economic, we're pleased to be joined by Steve Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist, a Trumponomics author, as well as the author of the newly released Govzilla, and economist, of course. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Well, good morning, guys. And by the way, I was listening to your conversation about Lori Lightfoot. I'm going to make a prediction to you. I think there are a lot of liberals in this country who are going to wear masks for the rest of their lives.
Yep.
They like wearing masks.
Good.
They love it. It's. I've said it from the start. Masks have had a very small positive impact on health outcomes, but they're very, very small. And it's mostly virtue signaling. And so I predict that you're going to see, for the rest of our lives, liberals walking around with masks on.
Hey, Steve, you know what? There's some faces that I'm happy not to see. No problem.
No. But the other thing that's interesting is there was a piece in the Wall Street Journal yesterday on COVID, and it was on page A4, and the headline was, children a new study shows that children are mostly immune from COVID. I'm like, it took these people 2 years to figure that out. I mean, come on, we knew that from day one that COVID didn't affect children.
Right, their lungs are tiny.
The damage we did to our kids was incalculable. But now they're coming out, oh, yeah, it turns out children were not really vulnerable. And then the other study, of course, the one that we talked about last week, which was by Johns Hopkins University, 4 of the leading health and economic scientists, found that lockdowns had virtually no effect on health outcomes. So everything we've done, folks, for the last 2 years in response to COVID has been a mistake.
And by contrast, and you wrote about this, Steve, getting a little Tony Fauci-ish, getting outside your lane and talking public health policy, but that's fine.
He's a regular Bill Gates. Let him do it.
Steve,
I'm just following the science, guys.
Exactly.
Good for you. We need you.
So you compared and contrasted Sweden to the United States, Sweden, which didn't do most of these COVID mitigation measures and certainly didn't do them as long as we did. And Sweden was experimenting with human beings. Sweden was countenancing death and destruction at the hands of this virus. And now here we are 2 years later. And what do the numbers tell us?
Well, so the story of Sweden is pretty interesting. So Sweden didn't lock down at the beginning, like almost every other industrial country did. And Sweden did have higher death rates at the beginning than Norway and many of the other European countries. But then what happened was they flattened the curve quickly because they reached an immunity, kind of a herd immunity situation. And so after 2 years, Sweden actually has lower death rates than countries like the UK and the United States and other neighboring countries that did lockdowns. So again, the lockdowns really didn't have much of an impact. The virus was going to do what it was going to do. And so, I mean, I hope the takeaway from this is that we never do this again. But I'm definitely afraid, Dan and Amy, that every time we have a new flu outbreak, oh my God, close the schools, close the restaurants, close everything. I mean, we become a nation of, I'm not going to say the word, but,
well,
and
just that's fine. The top line is Sweden lower death per capita than the United States.
Yes.
And most of their deaths were in nursing homes, Stephen Moore, because I have family there. Their nursing homes are not like our nursing homes. They're nursing homes. Some of them will have 1,000 people in them. So once that caught in nursing homes, that's a highest risk group and the highest risk setting. That's why they had, a death rate at first that was higher.
This is a great point you're making. So it didn't, I'm not a health expert. I'm an economist. But it was pretty clear from the beginning, and a lot of, really good, the Great Barrington Declaration of many very eminent medical people said, wait a minute, what we should be doing, and it seems so obvious today, protect the people who are vulnerable, protect the people in the nursing homes, protect people who have diabetes, protect people who have other health problems where getting COVID is going to be really dangerous. But shutting down schools? I mean, really, how stupid was that? And the damage was so considerable. And it was because of the teachers' unions. They didn't care about the science. They just didn't want to teach.
Well, we're masked until August 26, 2022.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they did a collective bargaining agreement without considering the third party, the students and the parents. We had no say in it. It was a backdoor deal.
You mean in the schools? They're going to require the kids?
Yeah, because they had a 5-day work stoppage, and during that time, Lightfoot was so anxious to get them back that they just signed everybody's rights away without asking.
Again, the data shows pretty clearly that we're putting kids in masks inhibits their learning in schools. They can't see facial expressions. They have a hard time hearing. I mean, masks are not a good thing to put on kids. It's good. Yesterday I was out we had a nice day here in D.C. I was out at the park, and all these parents have their kids, we're a very liberal community. All the parents have their kids running around the playground with masks on.
It's the most important. Look, the most important thing is to make sure aging leftist baby boomers feel comfortable and safe. That's the most important thing.
Exactly.
And Stephen Moore, your high school, your alum, New Trier last night voted 7-0 unanimously to have mask optional beginning today. That's your high school.
Yes.
Hey,
so exciting.
Hey, but I have a friend who sent me a study yesterday. Right down the street from where I grew up was Loyola Academy, and apparently Loyola Academy has gone totally woke with the critical
Yes.
race theory stuff
Yes.
and all of
Loyola Academy,
So-
not a Catholic school anymore. Yes, that's
Yeah.
true. But
Pathetic.
there are very few Catholic schools left, at least in Chicagoland and other urban centers too, because it's all social justice warriors and terrible leadership from their cardinals like ours and Supich. So yeah, of course. I mean, what have we seen over the last 2 years? All sectors fold into the state, and unfortunately, in so many respects, that includes the Catholic Church and other religious institutions.
Well, I live in Montgomery County, Maryland, which is one of the most liberal counties in America. And guess what we did yesterday? We lifted our mask mandate.
You did?
So yeah, I mean, so people are starting to wake up.
Starting to wake up, like everybody. It's like Oak Park, River Forest, Chicago, a handful. These Chardonnay Antifa shrill harridans up on the North Shore and everywhere else. All right, let's get to some other matters here. Starting with Biden is going to ease our pain, Field of Dream style, with respect to the coming spike at the pump because of the matter between Russia and Ukraine, really Russia and the West. Good to know that the administration is still good at canceling pipelines. Now, if we could only get them to authorize any.
Yeah, great point. I mean, if I were giving that State of the Union speech on, I think it's Tuesday night, what I would tell Biden to do is say, you know what, I have to admit I made a mistake on the Keystone XL pipeline. We're gonna build that pipeline. And I made a mistake in canceling hundreds and thousands of acres of drilling
Leases.
permits. We're gonna allow that to happen. And by the way, some of these EPA requirements that are putting our gas and oil industry out of business, we're gonna cancel those so we can become number one in oil and gas production. I mean, a year ago, folks, we were the number one oil and gas producer, and we were importing a net zero oil and gas. Now we're completely dependent on countries like Saudi Arabia, Iran, and of course Russia. We are playing right into their hands. And I know Joe Biden on Tuesday night is going to say, we're doing everything we can to keep oil and gas prices low. That's a lie. They're doing everything they can to keep oil and gas prices high.
Goldman Sachs projects that. I know caveat, but just assess the economic prediction that you can also for commentary in Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs estimates the disruptions in Russia's energy exports could push the price of Brent crude up or to historic records, which in turn could push U.S. inflation rates well above 10%.
Yep. I mean, that's absolutely right. We could see over $100 a barrel oil. We're closing in on that already. That means that you're talking about, I don't know, what are you guys paying there? $4? Are you at $4 a gallon yet?
Yeah, we're at $4, and even in the suburbs, we're at $3.75. So, no bargain.
I will just tell you that when Donald Trump left office, it was $2.50 a gallon, and so if Goldman Sachs is right, and this dispute in I don't know what to call it, a war dispute in Ukraine continues, then we're probably talking about $5 a gallon gasoline. Why aren't we producing this oil and gas at home? I mean, it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen, and I've been in this game 35 years. I cannot understand the left's, let's shut down American oil and gas, and then we can get it from Saudi Arabia and China and these other countries that hate us.
Yeah, that's the imponderable with this administration because, of course, they're committed to transforming our economy, in the immortal words of AOC's chief of staff, and so he can't give that up because the Democrat Socialist Party won't let him. So that's not going to happen. So we are going to experience this.
Do you know what percentage of our energy consumption today comes from wind and solar power?
How much?
3%?
2%.
It's up to about 4.
So
I mean, 95% of it is coming, not 95% because we do get a lot of hydropower, but we're getting most of our oil, our energy today from oil, gas, and coal, those old-fashioned fossil fuels that produce 70% of our energy, and we're not producing it. And you'd have to be a lunatic, or you'd have to be Joe Biden to think somehow we're going to go to 100% renewable energy over the next 25 years. I mean, it could happen, but that means we're going to be riding our bicycles rather than driving our cars.
All right. Well, Herbert Hoover promised a chicken in every pot, so I guess Joe Biden can promise a Tesla in every garage.
Yes.
How's that?
Well, yep. And then where are we going to get remind me where we're going to get the minerals for the batteries? Where are we going to get the electric power to charge the batteries? I haven't thought that far out.
Hunter Biden is going to talk to his Chinese communist friends and secure that for us. Steve Moore, Trumponomics, and Govzilla author, Wall Street Journal columnist, and economist. Steve, thanks as always. Appreciate it.
Okay, see you guys. Have a great week. Take care.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
It's time to make your dreams a reality and do something about your bathroom. Take all those pictures you've been saving off the internet that show the most serene, updated, spa-like bathrooms and make them your own. Matrix Home Solutions will give you a free quote. They'll transform your old bathroom into the space of your dreams using your ideas to give you the bathroom you've always wanted. How about a walk-in shower instead of that old tub? Matrix Home Solutions can make it happen. Set up an appointment online at matrixhomesolutions.com. For the bathroom you've been dreaming of, start now with a free quote from Matrix Home Solutions. Right now, Matrix Home Solutions is offering a free tub or shower installation for a limited time.